And one person who has been able to consistently be with me in my own Healing While Black experience has been now my spiritual mother that I have claimed. See, some reclaim, I just claim. But the Reverend Dr. Katurah Jenkins Hall, who has guided me and guides us in this process of healing while Black. Dr. Hall.
Thank you, Dr. Butler, and thank all of the beautiful women and men who make the Well for Life come to life. This has been an incredible journey since 8:46 this morning. We can't hear the number 8:46 without reflecting on the knee in everyone's neck. We can't hear 8:46 without thinking about our own need to breathe. We know that life is in breath. And so we want to just pause with the 200 people remaining, and let's just take 3 deep cleansing breaths. You're at the end of a long day. Can you just breathe? You've done amazing work. Let's breathe in our gratitude. Let's exhale our excellence. Breathe in peace. Exhale all those technical difficulties that you're worried about. Breathe in joy. Yeah, exhale the worry, because this work has been centered and created by God. There's power in the breath. And as we breathe, we ask each of you to just consent to the spirit within. There's spirit within you, regardless of what you call it. Consent to that strong African spirit. Consent to that Holy Spirit. Consent to the spirit within. And never take a moment like this without inviting those on whose shoulders we stand to join us in this moment. And you've been doing that all day. You've been doing it all morning and afternoon as we remember the powerful men and women who have come before us. And it just relaxes us to know that they're still here and they're breathing through us, and they're sharing their knowledge with us as we continue this healing process. As we center on healing, we think about our minds, our bodies, our spirits, never disconnected one from the other. And that's one of the things that I love about the well. It's not just a mind thing. It's how we relate spiritually and emotionally and socially and politically and culturally and all of that. It's not just a mind thing. And we must, though, consider our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs and moral values, and also how we want to respond, how we must respond, the action that is called for. This is moving us from conversation, and the conversation has been wonderful and very enlightening all day, from conversation to commitment. And as we started these sessions early today, we heard that one of the women from the well talked about recognizing their part and their power and their platform and their voice. You may remember that. And if you weren't here, those are important things to recognize. Someone talked about reclaiming their power and their right to self-care. So as you're thinking about what it means to recognize, reclaim, and restore, just the action component of that, I want to allow anyone from the well who's still with us and able to respond to that. How would we take action regarding what we have to recognize, reclaim, and restore?
I see one of our newest members of the well, and she does not have to come on screen. See, we're going to send out an article around working from home. But Lisa, we see you, we hear you, if you want to share what being, what recognize, reclaim, and restore, we will hear your voice. She has to unmute. Yeah.
Hey, I'm here.
Yes.
Well, for me personally, I will not speak for the well. I will speak for me. For me, recognizing my own personal power and my own personal worth for me has kind of led to the path of reclaiming self, empowering self. And for me, I think it's recognizing your own worth can be the catalyst to seeking mental health, to seeking empowering yourself and healing yourself in order then, hopefully, and especially for me, to be able to share that with others. So that's what I have to say on that.
Thank you. And we will always make sure your voice is heard. Now we have Tiffany.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was in the training. We're reflecting. Okay. Yes, as both a organizer that assisted with the event, a presenter, and a participant, I'm just full, and that is one thing that I recognize. Just the all the experiences, the joy, the laughter, the near tears of the collective. Reflect. I will reflect on my fullness of the experience, take away what we learned in our technical assistance from it, give ourselves some grace for hosting this immense event, and restore by taking a good nap, having a good drink, yeah, and begin to just sit back and enjoy what we created in this moment, because it's been awesome.
Yeah.
You ladies have been working this thing for a long time, and I know you must be thoroughly exhausted. I want you to talk to me a little bit about radical self-care. How you started it, Tiffany. You started something.
Yes.
And I want to hear what your commitment is and what you would encourage others on this call to do for themselves with respect to radical self-care.
Yeah, that's my jam, right? Because as a person who has been impacted by both mental health concerns as well as chronic fatigue physical, so both invisible disabilities, that radical self-care is pivotal to me, and one of the reasons I really get behind healing justice and in that movement, because I don't want to do this work any longer than what we have to. So I will tell, except for Dr. Butler, you can't tell Dr. Butler no. But anyone else, I will tell in a heartbeat that, no, like, I'm tired. I will admit it, that I need to rest. And right now I'm not feeling, I've delayed Dr. Butler. What they said, delayed but not denied. I've delayed Dr. Butler up and actually until very recently. And so I believe in the power of no.
Yes.
That is my radical self-care. And I beg everyone to embrace that no and to use it liberally.
Yeah. Chastity's here, so we have the power of no. We have the power of. I just want to say one of my favorite Dr. LaDonna Butler quotes is, "You have to do the work to do the work." So I would like to say collectively in the reflection that we still need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. We're the ones who are holding the space for others to get the help. We need to make sure we're doing the same. I always say, as if your therapist doesn't have a therapist, I've never seen a therapist, don't let them be your therapist. Yes, and she walks off. And then we have our Margaret, who's gonna round us off with them Russian.
So, well, this is my belief. Self-care is very, very, very important. And so, again, I'm gonna say another Dr. LaDonna Butler quote. Ended up laughing because she started giggling. But she's like, if you see it and you believe it, then just go do it. So because of her, I think I have dropped like 2 things in 2020 with COVID, and they're both successful. So, do the work and be the work, so that we can still kind of help bring others into the work.
We are the work.
Thank you.
We are the work. And so I've been, quote, my friend Russia, sometimes I have to sit down and be quiet and drink some water. It is times like this that it can be overwhelming to share space and do the type of collective healing and work that is required if we are going to find collective liberation and healing and joy. And so sitting down, being quiet has been helpful, especially in some of the most difficult moments, even unto today. And then second for me, it's surrounding myself with good friends like
Very
Russia,
good.
who's gonna go ahead and tell us her self-care.
Very good. Awesome. Russia.
So I would say finally, my self-care is, as you see me trying to get my children to let me finish this piece off, but my great, something that I'm working on as far as self-care goes, and I was really hopeful to talk to Dr. DeGrew a little bit about that, is just this process of learning how to tell your story. I think that what we saw today was very powerful, and it went against all the conventional methods of clinical work and therapy that we typically see, which is don't overshare and don't talk too much about your own personal experiences. But I truly believe we have to take a look at that, because it was through the personal experiences of everyone that spoke today that I think we are on the right track for healing. I think it's truly relational work, and we have to learn how to be in relationship with each other. And so as a person who often gives people space to share their story, my radical self-care is really, really taking the time to learn how to share my own so that I can truly impact and affect others.
Thank you for that. We've gotten some good action items to learn to say no, to sit down and drink some water every now and then, right? To learn balance and to tell our stories, to know our worth. This is the beginning of that. So we've heard some good things. I've learned some words during the evolution of this conference, and one of the terms that is now the term is part of the title of this conference, which is Black, Indigenous, People of Color. And I learned a new word in one of my breakout sessions. It's called precariats. And Dr. Gutierrez talked about precariats. And those precariats are those of us who are united because of our precarious conditions. We are precariats. And so how do we invite all the precariats to the table labeled healing while Black? Although I know that we're targeting many people, all of us who are precariats, how do we make those people welcome?
That's a good question. And a wise person said, don't make the simple things hard. Because of the truly, and this is a gift from God, loving nature of Black folks. We are not asking for revenge, we're asking for equity. And so many times that loving nature opens the door for us to sit together and learn together and heal together. So one of the first strategies is an invitation is an invitation, that's all. And so as we are opening up the doors, let your invite be your invite. I have so enjoyed being able to say this is a BIPOC safe space, which says that it's not that I don't want you, but this is a space just for me, which opens up the opportunity to say there might be a space where you need to do your own allyship and your own affiliate group work so that when we come together, we can do so without causing intentional harm. So first, make the invitation, but be clear in the type of work and energy and the labor it will take in order for everyone to be able to stay at the table. The second thing, and I'll get out of this, is if you are going to make the invitation, be ready to be in the struggle together. Be open to perspectives that may not align and may cause some accidental scratches, but be ready to make repair. Don't show up in spaces that you're not ready to do the work. Do your work, do your repair within your own systems of love and care, so that when we come together, we can do this work of humanity.
Very beautifully stated. This work is not comfortable work. We're going to expect discomfort. This work is not about judging another person's truth. We're going to expect, as Rush is saying, that my narrative is my narrative. And in that is power. And someone else is going to be lifted by that narrative. So we appreciate that. And so my final question has to do with, well, I'm getting to call Tim Wise brother Tim Wise, as he can kind of lay it down. And how do we, it's the same question, but specifically to our white allies, what is the action item for those who may still be watching? What would be one thing you'd like to see, hear, have them do, have them act on, or never want to see again?
Mm-hmm. I would say do your work. Be in relationship with other white folks who are on this journey with you. Ask yourselves the hard questions, and then challenge yourself to continue to grow. That is what's necessary if we're going to do this healing work. The woman, Robin, who wrote the book White Fragility, is very clear about her bias and about her racist belief systems that sometimes cause rupture in relationship. If you've not read it, go get the book and read it, because the fragility doesn't allow us to enter into relationships. So number one, do your own work. Number two, be ready to have relationships with people who can allow that space with you while not pushing too much of an emotional burden on someone who's already been carrying. And then last is make room. You got privilege, so use your privilege for good. And I will say that has been the witnessing that I've watched with corporations who are now pushing the needle for inclusion of Black voices and Black leadership. If you have position and ability, make room for voices that have been marginalized and ostracized and intentionally silenced. Dr. Hall.
Make room, do your work, serve at the level that you can, share your resources. These are some really concrete things. I don't know if anyone else on the Well for Life wants to answer. We are at 4:30, Dr. Butler.
Yes,
so I want to turn this back over to you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for graciously calling me your spiritual mother. Thank you for being connected to my spirit.
Thank you for having me and making room for me.